have been practicing public health for about 1.5 years, and I have just found that there were some missing pieces to some of my knowledge base, and I feel as though the class allowed me to sort of put some of those missing pieces of the puzzle together. I found that the instructors were very approachable. No question was silly or ridiculous to ask. There was a very open and supportive environment, both from a theoretical standpoint as well as in clinic sort of lab palpation. I felt like we were able to go over things that maybe we just needed a little bit of extra help with. So having been on the class and as somebody who's new to pelvic health, I found that it was really good for me just to be able to learn some things that maybe I wasn't aware of before. But then several people on the class have been practicing for a really long time, and there was also new information that they were able to learn, and then I think we all learned from each other.
Hi, so I think what I'm left with leaving the workshop this weekend is how much a sense of mentorship I felt that I got from not only the main instructors, but from the other clinicians who were in the group. Some who are very, very seasoned and some who are newer to pelvic floor, and everyone's different backgrounds and just learning clinical pearls. That's like the buzzword of the weekend. Learning these things that I haven't learned in other pelvic floor courses, things that you would learn from either doing it for years and years or having someone in your office who's super experienced to mentor you. So I would recommend this particularly for people who are just starting out or are in a little bit more isolated clinic where they may be the only pelvic floor therapist and are just learning the ropes. I think another great thing about it is I never felt rushed during the labs. I felt like there was availability of instructors, and if I wasn't getting something, they were in it with me, so to speak. So highly recommended.
Thank you.
So this course was absolutely fantastic. One of the best courses I've taken, if not the best. It's small group, so you can really ask a ton of questions, feel very comfortable with having the lab instructors and the presenters come over and help you figure things out. The day goes by really quickly. 48 hours just flies on right on by. So that's always nice too. Personally, as somebody who's just taken pelvic floor level 1, so being a brand new pelvic floor therapist, I'm coming out of this class feeling much more comfortable with treating patients than I did coming in. So that's probably my biggest takeaway from everything, is just comfort level with treating and knowing what I'm doing.
I really liked the labs, and there were certainly lots of things that I have learned that I didn't pick up in regular pelvic floor classes. Treatment techniques specifically, and then there's some evaluation tips that really helped a lot. I feel like if you take this class, it's a small class and you get one-on-one with either the lab assistant or with the presenters themselves. They come around and make sure that you really understand what you're looking at, what you're feeling, what you're doing. And you really walk away with things that you can take into the clinic on Monday, and you can treat a patient confidently that you necessarily aren't getting in a regular pelvic floor class.
The thing that I really loved about the class is that it was very comfortable, very easy to ask questions. It was a small group. It never felt like, one person was taking over a lot of the discussion. It felt like so many of the questions that you have in the clinic when you're treating a patient, it was like, wow, someone's finally here to help me answer those and help me figure those out. So that was really great, yeah. So what I liked about it is that I think it kind of meets you wherever you're at. So there can be a pretty broad span of experience. So I even thought about, my former student, and I was like, this would be such a great class for her because you get so much more of what you get in pelvic floor 1 and in such a smaller setting. I think it's way more digestible, and I really liked that it was 2 days. Sometimes 3 days can be so overwhelming and you're just so fatigued by the end. I've been practicing for a few years, and I even felt like it was really good because it reminded me to go back to some of the basics and be like, okay, I need to make sure I really know my anatomy. This is really important. But then I was able to add on with other things that I've wondered about for a while.
Tracy taught me a lot about the places that I had always neglected. Specifically, I don't know if you want me to say specifically, but I really appreciated the discussions that we had and the labs we had about the urethra and the clitoris, which have previously been unexplored in previous studies. And I have to say my favorite part was having a male model and seeing, again, areas that I have neglected in the past. That was, I can't wait to take those back to the clinic with me. It just really helps you hone your skills and ask those questions that perhaps you felt were dumb questions because you probably have already learned them and maybe forgotten them or not used them quickly enough to apply them. So this class just gave me that environment of comfort to ask those questions.